Uh, this is Darcy's Corner, maybe. It's July 16th, 2022. I haven't made one of these in a really long time because I just haven't had time. You know why I haven't had time? I got a full time job working at a local plant here, and it's a good job for me. It's 8 to 4:30, and there's some overtime in there, and it's a living wage, and it's wonderful. But I still have the other one of my other part-time jobs. I had two part-time jobs before. Now I just have one part-time job and one full-time job. And I'm trying to get the part-time job cut down even more or eliminated altogether, um, so that I have time to do things. Because like my apartment is just absolutely destroyed. I recently got a dog, thinking I was going to have some time off because I was making arrangements to have that so I could, you know, look after the dog because I like the dog. She's cute. She's not real cuddly just yet with me, but it's early days. But we get along. And, you know, I haven't had time to do dishes really, or to vacuum or pick up, and I barely have time to do laundry or take a shower. And the reason I don't have time for these things is because I'm working. I don't know. I spend 4 hours a night with them stupid newspapers, and then I spend 8.5 hours. I wish I had a proper holder for my phone. I spend 8.5 hours at my job that's going to pay the bills, and I've only been there 3 weeks, and I got mixed reviews from the boss. He's like, "Well, you're doing this good, you're doing that good, but you need to be doing these things over here better and those things better." And he has higher expectations of me. But I'm okay with that he has higher expectations, and I'm okay that he's telling me what they are, because um oh, I gotta get a holder for this thing. Anyway, um but when you have expectations of people and you tell them, no, you can rise to these expectations, I know you can, oftentimes they do. I was just reviewing some of my other recordings, and there's obviously something wrong with me, because I have problems with the older generation, I have problems with the younger generation, and they're just different problems. Like, with the older generation, my parents and my grandparents and aunts and uncles and things, they maybe had some viewpoint problems when it came to prejudice and what they thought was an acceptable way of living, or who they felt was okay to be in their circle or not. And that's challenging. And for some people, it just it's horrible, because you can prevent them from getting jobs or advancing in life. I don't know why my parents and grandparents did that, but they were part of the generation that did that, certainly. And so I'm all happy with the youth of today and how accepting they are of people. And then my adult daughter insulted me on such a profound level, and I can't even explain. I don't even understand myself why I'm as angry as I am about it. Because, like, she is thoughtful and kind and smart. So she has all these wonderful qualities and traits about her that I just, when it's your child, you're blind to their flaws sometimes. And then she opened my eyes in a way that I just did not see coming. It blindsided me. Because how can you be so smart and kind and thoughtful and yet be so self entitled and stupid at the same time? I, over the years, have put in hours and hours and hours at various jobs, like 12-hour days, 21 days in a row, or sometimes they would work you 6 on and 1 off, but you'd be there for 3 or 4 months doing whatever it is they have you doing. So you're away from home for 4 months with 4 days off in the month just spread throughout the month. And these are 12 and 14-hour days you're putting in sometimes. It's ridiculous. But I did those things. And I did those things with the hope, the intention of paying for my vehicles and paying for my dental work and, trying to get a house, which I never did get. But I have so very little, considering how many hours and weeks and years I put into these things. But I do have a truck, I do have a car, I do have some nice things. And now I have this great job that, well, as jobs go, that's going to provide me with more of life's necessities, the nice things. And I had an opportunity I've been looking for an opportunity forever to buy my daughter a car. Why is that a goal of mine? Well, I don't know, but my parents helped me finance a very nice used car, my first car, and then my grandparents have given me 2 cars throughout my life because that allowed me to get better jobs or get jobs and get to work and provide for myself. That's what those cars allowed me to do. And I always wanted to give my daughter a car, and I just never had the ability to do it. And because of my recent developments, I can keep the one full-time job, and if I have a helper, I can keep the other part-time job. And I've been trying to find a helper, but the job doesn't pay very good, so I understand why people don't want to do it. And my daughter was going to help me do it right up until she realized she would have to do it 5 whole days a week for a total of 20 hours a week to make the same money she's making now at her part-time job in another city. And on top of that, I was going to give her a new car. Maybe not a brand new car, but like something that's, less than 10 years old. I'm thinking between $5,000 and $10,000 in value. Something that's not going to fall apart and that's going to be practical, and she could use it for whatever she wants. It would be perfectly fine by me. It wouldn't offend me at all if she said, I have a better opportunity over here to make $20 an hour and full time and live my life. If she had that, I wouldn't be offering her this piddly job and the car. I'd be like, go get that job, go do that. But she doesn't have that. Now, I don't know about her job prospects, but I do know that your options increase exponentially when you have a reliable vehicle, because you can go anywhere you need to go. And she could go be an Uber driver if she wants, or a skip the dishes person, or a frickin' mechanic. I don't care. She wants to keep being a hairdresser, go be a hairdresser. By the way, her job right now is not being a hairdresser, because she can't currently find work for that, apparently. It's not. Whatever. There's no judgment, because, it's hard to find the job you want sometimes. And sometimes the work that you are suited for just isn't available. I understand all that, because, I've been working a lot of years and lots of jobs, and I know that sometimes it's challenging. No. Now, the reason she's not going to come help me is because she's an adult. I hope she's an adult. She's 26. When you're an adult, by the way, you don't have to tell people you're an adult. That's something you do when you're 16 and your parents tell you their curfew is too late, or, whatever. I'm an adult. I don't have to do care. Like, that's a 16-year-old thing or a 15-year-old thing, not a 26-year-old thing. But, millennials. So, because she's an adult, she was absolutely disgusted at the idea that I expected her to work 5 days a week. That was disgusting to her. And I'm looking at my examples. I'm even looking at her examples. Like, there are members of her family on her mother's side who I can't stand. But they all have jobs. They all went to work, every one of them. Even the ones I profoundly disagree with on a whole bunch of levels had jobs. 40 hours a week, whatever. They were all proud of what they were doing because they were working. Well, yeah. My parents, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, my cousins, my brother and sister, every one of them. We've all got problems and challenges in life. But we all get off our butts and go to work as often as we can, doing whatever it is that we do. It's perfectly fine to have a down cycle and a down time. Or, things aren't going well this year or month or whatever. And sometimes you do have to take a wellness day because you've been working however many days, weeks, months in a row, and you need to take some time to decompress. But the idea that you have to have a wellness day built into every week, and heaven forbid you should work 20 hours, that's too hard on your psyche. I'm not saying we don't all have issues, but at least if you don't have some sort of a real, sincere mental issue that prevents you from working, or a physical issue that prevents you from working, which my child does not have. She might have a mental challenge I'm unaware of. Maybe she's dealing with depression or something. Okay. Depressed people have jobs. Like, oh. Anyway, I'm beyond disgusted with her because I was setting her up to have a very nice job, a very nice car. The job at the moment is very lousy. It wouldn't have paid very much. It would have paid hardly 10 or 12,000 a year, which is nothing. But she could have lived where she's living now, basically for free, or live with me for free. So she wouldn't have had rent. And next year or the year after, I would have morphed that job into a job running my bees, which I'm going to set up so it pays 30,000 a year. That's not nothing. But it's perfectly fine by me, by the way, if she would have did this little job, got the car, and said, I don't want to raise bees. I don't want to do this little job. I want to go do that job. Cutting hair, changing tires. I don't care. Go do the job you want to go do. Here's the tools. Here's a car. Here's an education in whatever it is. Go do it. Go do what makes you happy. But she was absolutely disgusted with the notion that I actually expected her, and I don't know why she's disillusioned by this, to work 5 whole days a week for at least 20 hours. Don't get me wrong, if she figured out a way to work 4 days a week for 15 hours and generate a full-time income, I would be impressed. I'd be like, you earned that time off because you figured it out, and boy, are you smart. No. She figures she's entitled to drive her friend's car, live in her friend's house, and go to work when she feels like it. I've never been more disappointed in her in my entire life. And quite frankly, I'm disgusted that she thinks that I deserve to work 70 hours a week. And the only reason I'm working 70 hours a week is because my helpers never show up for the other job. And I'm okay being left hanging or in the dark by random strangers. But by the one person that I'm doing this for, why am I putting in all these hours? Why am I trying to buy her a car if she doesn't care enough to show up? She doesn't have to work 70 hours a week. She doesn't have to sacrifice. I mean, working 20 hours a week is sacrificing, and they're crappy hours because it's like a graveyard job. But still, I worked at 7-Eleven night shift for like 3 straight years. She could do a crappy job night shift for 1 or even 6 months. Instead, clearly, I don't understand adulting because she's an adult and therefore she doesn't have to work if she doesn't want to. I understand adulting. I understand that the $250,000 life insurance policy I'm taking out for her in case I die before I build my business is no longer going to her. Nor is my business. I'm going to build a $500,000 beekeeping enterprise. That's my goal. It's going to happen. I was doing it so that I could leave it to her so that after I retire, she could have it and she could either run it or sell it, and I'd be fine either way. There's no way I'm giving her a car, and there's no way I'm giving her a living or a livelihood if she can't be bothered to show up. And she's disgusted at the fact that I expect her, and I do, to put in a minimum effort. I don't understand. Clearly, I failed as a parent. I don't know where she got the notion in her head that she didn't have to work because she's special. She is special. She is wonderful. But she's no more special or wonderful than any other person out there. She's able-bodied, she's smart, and she's capable. I don't know where I went wrong. And I don't know why it has me as angry as it does, but like, why am I doing any of this? To leave it to her. I have some very deserving nieces and nephews. Maybe they'll show up. I don't know. Anyway, I am disgusted with my child. And I didn't think it was possible for me to be disgusted with her. But I am. She broke me in a way that no one else could. Anyway, this is really long. Maybe I'll share it. Maybe I'll just cry over it later. Anyway, Darci's Corner. Sorry for the cry. Peace.